we will go ahead and get started. So this is Essential Oil to come on here and answer any of the questions that you all may have in this panel platform. So I know that myself and Dr. Betty and Karen have been involved with essential oils for a very, very long time. Those two probably longer than me, but we all share a deep love for essential oils. So I thought it would be interesting for you all to kind of get an inside look into our lives as far as how we got into this whole essential oil space. So I suppose I can start if you ladies don't mind.
Go right ahead.
All right. So you all have probably heard me tell this story a lot, but my brother got diagnosed with cancer in 2014. And after his diagnosis, he's fine now, but after his diagnosis, he was determined to heal naturally as well as using traditional methods. So when he started to kind of open us up to this whole natural healing world, I really never knew where I wanted to kind of find myself, but I landed in essential oils, and I've just been fascinated by the healing power of essential oils, how they help to soothe the mind, the body, the spirit, just help physically. And I really have appreciated how powerful they are. So I started as a Young Living distributor in, I don't even remember what year, maybe 2016. And then my passion and my excitement about it grew. So I knew that I wanted to get more information. So I got my aromatherapist certification from the New York Institute for Aromatic Studies in 2017. And since then, you know, I've just been so enamored with essential oils. I'm so excited about them, love learning about them. And then here comes Wakana just on top of it, just giving me all this new love. So essential oils have been my thing, I'll say probably about the last 4 years. So I'm kind of sort of a baby in the game, but I really enjoy essential oils and their healing properties. So ladies, if either of you want to share your experience, I'd love to hear it.
I defer to Dr. Betty.
Okay, so hi everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight for this exciting part 2 of essential oils. So I am actually, I don't know if everybody on here was with us the last time, but I'm a registered nurse as well as a doctor of naturopathy. And my introduction to essential oils was basically having completed my training as a naturopath and getting started in the business, and you know, being excited about helping people regain their health, and especially in a physical way, doing my manipulation. But I realized that, wait a minute, this is not a panacea either. I need some more tools. And I ran into a friend that I had not seen in years, and she turned me on to essential oils. And like Dr. Joy, I initially started with Young Living also. And this was about, oh my goodness, 2000, probably 2000 or 2001. And I was just enamored with them. I mean, it was the information, the possibilities, the effects of the essential oils was just so fascinating to me. And I think I had every oil that they ever created, and did some amazing things with those oils. Because their oils were so pure, you could actually ingest them. You could do implantations, all kinds of techniques and usages that who knew? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was my initial introduction to them. I was so enamored. I went to all the conventions. I mean, I bought all the books, and to this day, I still use essential oils to supplement not only my diet, but also to help to supplement my treatments with my clients, utilizing different techniques like raindrop therapy, Vitaflex, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, as well as infusing foods with them. So, yeah, essential oils are just, I don't know how we ever did without them.
That's right.
Well, I'll add to that wonderful story of these two ladies. For me, my journey started in 2003, and I was just new to Houston, Texas. So I had a friend invite me to a Healing Oils of the Bible class. I was curious, and I went. I was tired. It was late. I get a little moody when I'm tired. And so while the class was informational, I had a host of information. I wasn't necessarily interested in joining the business at that point, but I was interested in what kind of natural alternatives were available for headaches and for sleeping, because those were the two things that were top of my list through the stressful new gig I had. And so she introduced me to peppermint and lavender. Those were my two first Young Living oils that I experienced. So there were 3 for 3 for Young Living. And those essential oils, I had to learn from the very base that I didn't know what real peppermint smelled like until I had some. I didn't know what real lavender smelled like until I had it. So there's a big difference in the quality of oil that I experienced. Class, I was curious, and I went. I was tired. It was late. I get a little moody when I'm tired. And so while the class was informational, I had a host of information. I wasn't necessarily interested in joining the business at that point, but I was interested in what kind of natural alternatives were available for headaches and for sleeping, because those were the two things that were top of my list through the stressful new gig I had. And so she introduced me to peppermint and lavender. Those were my two first Young Living oils that I experienced. So there were 3 for 3 for Young Living. And those essential oils, I had to learn from the very base that I didn't know what real peppermint smelled like until I had some. I didn't know what real lavender smelled like until I had it. So there's a big difference in the quality of oils that are on the market, and it's really important to educate ourselves. So I used the peppermint essential oil to help relieve tension for my headaches, and also to help with any kind of indigestion, stomach ailments I had. You can rub peppermint actually on your tummy or lower abdomen with some carrier oil, because it is a hot oil. But also I used lavender. If I put a couple drops or 1 drop on my finger and a drop right by under my nose tip, I was out. Because it didn't take much. I was tired, but I wasn't getting to sleep. And the lavender relaxed me and allowed me to sleep pretty soundly. So that was my journey through getting connected. I joined the actual business 4 years later in 2007. And we're 13 years later, if you will, with essential oils. And my niece introduced me to CBD because she's a millennial and they all know about CBD. And so she thought it would be a great complement to what I was already doing. And turns out she was right. And another friend pointed me to Wakana. So it's good to have a good, strong network. And that's the end of my story for now.
Awesome, awesome. So it's so amazing that we started in this whole essential oil space, and then we came over to the CBD space, and we were able to have so many transferable skills. And we have products that have essential oils infused into them. Our hemp-powered hair, our topicals for pain relief, both our Dr. Rita's rub and our extreme pain relief. And it's amazing that a lot of our oils that have been infused in there complement the CBD so well in terms of the anti-inflammatory properties, in terms of the pain relief. I just think it's so amazing. So how have you all used our products that are, particularly the ones that are infused with essential oils? How have you all used those products, and how have they helped the customers that you all have encountered?
Well, I'm gonna jump right in. I use the First Defense nasal spray, and it is infused with a multitude of different essential oils along with our CBD. And I am using this a lot now from a preventative construct. Since we're at the beginning of our cold and flu season, if you will, I want to make sure that I'm building my immune system. So we have eucalyptus oil in our First Defense, and peppermint, and what else do we have? We have lemongrass and lemon, cinnamon, and rosemary. It's a powerhouse, which is why it's appropriate named First Defense. And basically, we're taking the nozzle off. See if I can do that, because I actually cheat a little bit, but you actually insert the nozzle in your nostril and do a quick squirt, and it goes very high up your nose bridge to create a defense of the oil barrier, if you will, but also to help remove or release, clear the toxins, if you will, from our breathing, because there's a lot of things in the air that are not good for us. And actually, while I'm speaking to you, there's smoke from California coming over the mountains into Reno. So we have very poor air quality right now. And they actually don't want anybody, any age outside, because right now the sun is orange here, and that is way too much pollution in the air for healthy breathing. So the First Defense helps as a buffer in terms of protecting my breathing, but it also will open up, because it's very poignant as a smell. It also will not only open your nasal passages, but assist your lungs in terms of breathing as well. So this is and I use this on my mask. What am I saying? I put this on my mask. That's like my number one thing these days is I'll put a drop or two on my mask, spread it out with like a Q-tip, and that has helped enormously when out breathing with my mask, because wearing a mask is uncomfortable to begin with, but this really will help you in your breathing just normally. Perfectly, your air quality is better than ours. So that's what I'm using right now.
That's amazing, preventative wise.
Yes.
Dr. Betty, anything for you?
Yes, I too am a big fan of the First Defense. In fact, I woke up early this morning and I had not really difficulty breathing, but I felt like I couldn't get a deep, deep breath. And I immediately jumped up. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I grabbed it, and just a very light squirt into each nostril. And like Karen said, it does go deep up into the sinuses. It is so potent and so strong, though. We encourage you not to take a big sniff. With the usual nasal sprays, you go, well, not with this one.
Oh, no.
This one. So literally you just spray it and then sniff lightly. And that is enough to get things moving.
That's true.
You actually probably want to wait a minute or so before you do the other nostril, because I'm telling you, it opens you up all the way. What I like about it too is I have a tendency to be a little congested, especially in my right nostril. And what I have found is that because our sinuses not only are here, but they're also here, and you can have a little something going on in there and not even be aware. We'll call it sinusitis, a little inflammation. And when I first started using the First Defense, I found that when my sinuses really opened up and I buzzed my nose, I found that there was a little yellow a yellowish tinge to my mucus, which says that there's some inflammation up in there. And after using the First Defense, it was gone. And I don't have that issue with the congestion back up in the sinuses. My other go-to favorite is flaxseed. This this is a miracle oil, and I even tell the grandbabies, "Oh, come on, let grandma give you some. She got some magic. Run for that magic." So what I use this for is, I may have mentioned this before. I had this. It wasn't quite an earache. It was just a pain, just a very slight pain I felt in my ear, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what is that?" And so what I did was I just took a drop on my finger and I put it behind my ear, in front of my ear, and I had a little bit of a residue left on my finger, and I just put it in on the inside of my ear. And within 5 minutes or so, I no longer felt that discomfort, and I haven't felt it since. So, so these two are definitely my favorites. In terms of the essential defense, this is a fabulous formulation. It has the cinnamon oil in it. It has lemon oil in it, clove, rosemary, and the eucalyptus. And these are all oils that have antimicrobial properties. In other words, they work to fight bacteria, viruses, and even fungal pathogen. This is an amazing product because I want to say it kills, it kills those bacteria. And as you know, in our mouth, we have lots and lots of bacteria. Many people, especially as you age, get pockets of, in the gums, pockets between the teeth, where bacteria can fester, so to speak. And so this is an excellent product to add to your oral care regimen. It can be used along with your toothpaste if you put a drop of carrier oil with it, because it is a very hot oil. Cinnamon is a hot oil as well as clove. And so by utilizing a drop of carrier oil, MCT, coconut oil, you could even use coconut oil, grapeseed oil, and the like, you dilute it, so to speak. However, that dilution does not minimize the effectiveness of it. It just kind of cools it down a little bit so that it does not cause an uncomfortable sensation in your mouth. But yes, so do that, and on the toothpaste, and brush the teeth, make sure you're brushing the gums down at the base of the tooth by the root. And then per the instructions on here, you can add 1 drop of the oil to a carrier oil and put it in your mouth slowly and swish it around. This is excellent in terms of killing bacteria, which is one of the causes of bad breath or halitosis. So, and then after that, I throw my head back and I gargle really, really well, because some people still have their tonsils, but bacteria can lodge itself in the tonsils and just in the back of the throat. So this is excellent in terms of helping to flush those toxins out.
And Dr. Betty, you actually provided a really good segue, because I always talk about how I feel like our co-founders had healing in mind when they decided which essential oils they were going to add to our product offerings. So just like you all mentioned, I use the nasal spray as well, maybe like once a week, especially in these times, because I don't need it every day. The Essential Defense, I'm good for a DIY. So I might add some to some carrier oil and put it on the bottom of my feet before bed, just so it can get through those large pores on the feet to every cell in my body.
Exactly.
I may add it to a cup of tea. I may add it to my toothpaste. And because I've been using essential oils and experiencing essential oils for so long, sometimes I can use them neat versus in a carrier oil or diluted. So since we're talking about how these oils are used, you talked about facilitating deeper breathing. And I find that our peppermint and eucalyptus does that, especially when placed on the mask. And it can even be placed on the side of the mask so that you're still getting those vapors, but you're not getting them directly in your nose where it's overwhelming. So since we're talking about kind of, neat versus diluted, safe versus unsafe, what are some safety measures and safety precautions that you think everybody should be mindful of when using essential oils? I believe we can start with the neat versus diluted, but if you all have any other ideas as far as safety precautions that people should have in mind when they're using our essential oil products.
Well, just so that, excuse me, everybody knows what neat means, that means using the oil straight out of the bottle without any dilution. For the average person, I would say that the safest method of utilizing the essential oils is to use a carrier oil. And some people say, oh, but more is better. No, more is not necessarily better. In fact, pure essential oils, which ours are pure and organic. They are distilled, and they are organic, diluted with or adulterated with any other oil, and they are not extracted from the plant material using any other chemicals like hexane. And this is a very, very important point, because many of the companies that market essential oils do those things. They use hexane to the essential oil from the plant material, and or they use other chemicals and or oils to adulterate the oils so that they're cheaper. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And so this brings me to the importance of knowing, again, I think we mentioned this the last time, knowing where your oils are coming from, making sure that you get them from a reputable company. And generally speaking, do not take essential oils internally, generally speaking. There are some that can be used safely, but it is best to, again, have the advice of someone who is skilled and experienced in using essential oils. Because again, it's so easy to say, oh, just one drop. No, I need 4 or 5 drops. And no, you don't need 4 or 5 drops. If you take a good oil, you can take 2 or 3 drops and put it in a carrier of a whole ½ ounce or an ounce or even a tablespoon. And that oil is going to have all of the properties, the characteristics, and the effectiveness of 1 drop neat. So.
And when I'm jumping in, Dr. Betty, when we talk about carrier oils, I'm just pulling off of that. It's not, we're talking a shea butter, a coconut oil, a jojoba oil.
Grapeseed.
Yeah, I mean, there's a host of carriers, and that's just the common language for it, to help dilute, to help you, not in terms of, well, it can be diluting from the potency, but not from the value of the actual oil. Some people have very sensitive skin, and so the carrier oil helps you spread out the benefit of that oil, if you will, in a wider surface area, but also, like I said, just to get the benefit of the constituents of that oil. So different parts of your body may be more sensitive than other parts from how you actually put the oil on. So the carrier oil can help you keep your oil longer in terms of duration, but I'm a pretty neat person. So I don't have a lot of sensitivities, but I know lots of people do for lots of different reasons, whether they're taking medications, their skin, there's a million reasons why skin is sensitive. So it's best to test an oil before you go all hog out. And so one spot that I was always referenced is your inner forearm is a good spot to test oils with, essential oils. Your citrus oils, stay out of the sunlight. Use those more in the evening or indoors. And citrus oils, I mean your lemon, your orange, your tangerine, your lime, those types of oils, your lemongrass. They are very photosensitive to the sun. So we don't want to be out with the blazing sun with those oils. But you can use those essential oils, as Dr. Joy mentioned, to infuse, water, or to ingest them. That way you can flavor some water in a healthy manner with a good quality essential oil.
Right.
As I'm gonna reiterate, as both ladies have already brought up, but you also can, in some cases, if it's dietarily available, those essential oils can use the flavor in cooking as well. So there's a host, just like our CBD products, in terms of how we infuse them into food products. It's the same science, if you will, on someone infusing the essential oils. So, but we want to make sure you're using quality products like our CBD products from Wakana. And if you're going to use an essential oil, use Wakanas, if you will, for there's different usage. Some are aromatic, some are topical, some are, what's my third one, ladies? Internal, and aromatic, topical, and I'm missing my other one. I'm thinking my eye. ATI.
Ingestion.
So, and thank you.
You're welcome.
And we're speaking of infusing. So when we talk about an essential oil being infused, can an essential oil be infused, or are the carriers infused with the essential oil? What do we mean when we say that something is infused? Because I believe we had that question on our group, and I just wanted to be able to clarify exactly what that infusion was. From my understanding of the question, this particular one of our business partners wants to infuse our products, or maybe infuse some essential oils into another carrier to be able to spread it out more. And if you are on the line and you remember that you asked that question on our group, just feel free to speak up. But when we're infusing essential oils, what does that look like in terms of infusing them in the shea butter, or how does that work, ladies?
Well, my understanding would be that you're actually putting it into the oil and mixing it in. Mm-hmm. And it brings to mind when you go to some of the gourmet stores and you see olive oil infused with garlic or infused with rosemary branches. So the oil, the carrier oil, is actually drawing the properties of whatever you put in it into its it's
into that carrier.
itself.